Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Ethan. Ethan is from Oregon in the USA. So let's see what Ethan has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello,
Hey William, how you doing?
good morning, Ethan. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Very well. Thanks so much for taking the time this morning for the interview. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, of course.
So tell me, how's your morning going so far?
It's good. I got some work done. I was a little late. I had to clean up a blowout with our 1-year-old. He blew out his diaper, so apologies for being a couple minutes late.
You know what? I'm gonna start the interview with a V. I was checking your profile a little bit today earlier, and I saw this video. It's the cutest thing. I was literally laughing for a long while because I don't know if it's your child or if you saw on social media. There's this little child like holding the cup with the mug.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is your
So that
child?
that's not my kid. That that
Okay.
that was a video that I found. It was either Instagram or TikTok, somewhere social media, and I just had this like that is the perfect analogy to health and fitness that I see so often people do. And so I had to stitch it and use it. But yeah, it is the funniest video and the most perfect example of how, unfortunately, so many people go through a health and fitness journey. So yeah, no,
Ethan,
not my kid, but
I
hilarious nonetheless.
it's hilarious. I watched at least 10 times. You have no idea.
Yeah,
And actually, I remember, I think as a child, I think I've been through that situation. I don't think with a mug and hot water, but I've been through with situation that I was holding my hand and I couldn't do it and I just drop on the floor. Like it's a quite
yeah,
common thing between children to do something like that.
yep, exactly. Yeah, it was watching it, someone was like, I remember doing that. And like, I've seen my nephew and my nieces and other people's kids. Like, that's such a universal thing. And that's funny enough, that's one of the posts that have done the best. And I still have people commenting on it, months and months later because they're like, that was me. So,
It's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
So do you consider yourself to be more of a day or night person, Ethan?
Ooh, I'm definitely an early riser. I got in the habit early middle school, high school of going to like double zero period classes and stuff. So I've been a morning person for most of my life. Uh, Definitely don't burn the midnight oil anymore.
So tell me, where are you from, Ethan?
So I'm West Coast, USA, so in Oregon. I've grew up here. I've moved to a couple different places, and I always come back. So
I
uh, my wife and I continue to talk about moving at some point, but it's in my opinion, one of the most beautiful states to live in. It's got so much to offer, so it's a hard sell to leave.
Tell me what Oregon stands out compared with other states in the US, in your opinion.
So, one of the first things I grew up doing a lot of outdoor stuff. I was in Boy Scouts, so like where I live currently in Oregon, you're an hour from the mountain. So hiking, snowboarding, skiing, you're an hour and a half from the coast. So again, if you want to do coastal stuff, you're like an hour and a half there. I'm
Mhm.
2-ish hours away from desert, high desert kind of areas.
Wow,
You're an hour and a half from, you know, this and that, and it's all relatively close. You can get to kind of any environment you would hope to be in. If you have any type of outdoor proclivity, you can find it in Oregon. It's pretty great. So
amazing.
yeah,
Okay, so before we start our journey, I know you are involved with fitness. Yeah, I know you're a fitness coach.
yeah,
So that's what you do for work. That's your main job.
yeah. That's my full time. I've been coaching since 2013. I started going through school and working at a big corporate gym, and I did that up until the end of 2019. And then a couple of coaches and I went off and opened our own independent gym at the beginning of 2020. COVID hit, so that was an adventure, but we survived. And then 2022, when I knew we were gonna have a baby, I decided to pivot to do predominantly online coaching. It opened up flexibility in my schedule. I was still able to help people, and now I can help people at a much larger scale from anywhere. So I've had clients from Canada, the East Coast, Europe, all over. So that's been really cool. But yeah, I've been a coach for 10 years now, which is just mind-blowing.
Amazing. Okay, so during the journey, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your career as a coach, about your life overall, okay?
Yeah.
Ethan, before we start our journey within the Magic Box, would you like to tell me something interesting about yourself?
Ooh, something interesting. This is always the question where people are like, what's interesting about myself? I'm a twin. That's fun. So I have a twin sister.
Okay.
She's much prettier than me. But yeah, I'm a twin. That's kind of a fun fact.
Who was born first, you or her?
She was born first, and she doesn't let me forget it. And she has 2 boys, and both my nephews don't let me forget it either. I was actually visiting them for Christmas, and both of them mentioned that, like, Mom's 15 minutes older than you. And I was like, thanks for reminding me.
That's amazing. Okay, Ethan, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Yeah, let's do it.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I've got here my best full of random fun questions, okay? I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay?
Perfect.
Let's do it. All right, so before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, some reason you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Perfect.
Right, first question for you is, what things do you consider to be a relationship deal breakers?
Oof. Is this romantic relationships, business relationships, like what kind of relationship? Any relationship.
Any relationship, yeah.
It's a universal, I think, lack of communication. And obviously everyone's communication styles can be different. But if you're not willing to communicate and work through things, what is the point? So I think figuring out however you need to communicate with the person so that you both can move forward in whatever relationship you have. That may take time and effort and struggle, but figuring that out is probably more important than most anything else.
And what do you think nowadays, you know, I had so many people here on the show, and when we talk about relationship, a romantic relationship, or even a business relationship, why do you think communication, I realize that communication, it can be, you know, something, there's a lack of communication there. Why do you think people, they struggle, or they have, you know, something that they cannot express themselves in a way that they can be, you know, be connected with their partner?
Yeah, I think, and this is something that I know I've struggled with and I continue to work on, when we communicate to be heard and not communicate to understand the other person, I think that's the thing that is the biggest roadblock for most people. Is I want to get my point across. And so when we communicate, the end goal for me is for you to agree with me, if not for me to understand you. And so I think that's where the most communication breaks down, is I'm communicating because I'm trying to prove that what I'm saying is right or the way you should view it. And that's often not the case. It usually needs to be this mutual letting of our guards down and saying, I can secede what you're saying to a point. And if you can secede to a point, we can get to a mutual point of agreement and we can move forward. But if I'm just digging my heels in, it's not going to go anywhere. And more often than not, that's where in my opinion, most emotions are most deeply hurt, is because people don't feel heard. And that's because we're communicating to prove we're correct. We're not doing anything to facilitate the other person.
I see. Okay. Next question. Let's do it. All right. Next question is, which bad habits you wish you could stop?
Oh, which I could stop?
Yeah, bad habits.
Oh, so this is something that I've noticed since transitioning into online coaching, because it's essentially a new business venture for me, coming from mostly in person, but I will push off most everything else if I know there's a task that needs to be completed. An example of this would be I can go all day without eating because I'm trying to get a project done, and it will be 3 o'clock and I realize like all I've had today was coffee. And as a health coach, I know how detrimental that can be to someone's health if that's just the habit forever. And so that's something that I have to continually remind myself. And like, if I could break that habit, magic wand, and like that gets changed, that would probably be super helpful.
Come some things, fitness always be in your life?
Yes and no, actually. So I've always been active. Grew up playing sports. I also grew up in kind of more middle, lower class family. So, and I have 4 siblings, so big family. So if we wanted to do something, join a sports club or something, we had to pay for it on our own. Sometimes there was limiting, like, I just don't have the money to go join that basketball camp or whatever it was, right? But I was always active. I did school sports, and then I kind of fell away. I still am, but I wanted to go into music. So I actually went to school for music. I got a degree in music. That's the first thing I did, was going to be a studio musician. Fell into some real bad habits with nightlife and the music scene. And so that's actually how I deep dived into fitness as a way to counterbalance where my life was going with drugs, alcohol, etc., with being in the music business, and fell in love with it and realized like how much better my life was because of it. And if I could help other people get to that point, that felt like the most rewarding thing I could do. So I actually switched career paths from music to fitness.
So music is not part of your life anymore, or do you still have some connection?
Still have some connections. It's hard to. I was a percussionist, so I did everything from wind ensembles to musicals to field shows to big band jazz. Like they did it all. And as a drummer now, mostly playing on a kit or something, it's just really hard. One, to schlep all that equipment back and forth to places, and then 2, as the older I get and the more people I interact with who have kids, who have other careers, all the things, just the logistics of like, let's play continuously, or it's so hard. So I'm still trying to make it a part of my life. But it's definitely more challenging the older I get and the more responsibilities that come with adulthood, for sure.
All right. Okay. Next question. Let's do it. Right. So before the next question, of course, when I invite a lot of people around the world, you know what I mean? And I had hit a lot of fitness coach, but I never seen anyone which say the parents kettlebell coach. So when I saw your profile, I was like, oh my God, that's different. That's something that I never seen before. When I look into your pictures, your posts, I was like, okay, that's something different that I never seen. So why kettlebell for parents? Why the connection with fitness?
Yeah, so because I've done this for 10 years now, so I've kind of how I train and how I coach and what I've seen has changed over the years. And now as a parent, I've realized like there are just some really unique challenges and struggles with parenting and trying to balance your own personal health and fitness. And so I wanted to hopefully be the person who could help parents realize like, if you can get a couple kettlebells and you can learn how to use them, you can train from home, you can train at the park when your kids are playing on the playground. Like there's so many things you can do with this one piece of equipment that can really snowball into all the areas of your life. And it doesn't have to be the gym bro, bodybuilding at the gym, hour and a half, 6 days a week. It doesn't have to be that, nor can it be that for most parents. They really need to have simple, concise, easy solutions specific to the issues that they run into. And then even more than that, parents, and I have this as my own thing that I'm continually working through is, when we spend time on ourselves, we feel like we're taking away from our families, our kids. It's selfish even. That might be an emotion some people feel. And so working through that with parents and realizing like, if you can learn how to take care of yourself, you can just show up so much better for your family, for your children, for everything else in life. And so I've really narrowed my focus in health and fitness to that specific niche, if you want to call it that. But like, parents have this very unique challenge, and so helping them through that has been a very narrow focus that I'm super excited to work on. Yeah.
Most of your clients, they are parenting. They are parents.
Yeah. So this is my first year as an online coach, really working with parents specifically. So the majority of my online business is with parents. I still do some in-person coaching. I came from working with general population. So really anybody from 18 to 79, I would work with. And I did a lot of what we call corrective exercise. So people would have an injury, they would get cleared from a physical therapist, but they didn't really know what to do after that to get back to where they wanted to be. And so I would help them bridge that gap of, I have this injury, I've recovered enough that I can get back to doing stuff, but I don't know how to do it safely, effectively, and make a plan to get to where I want to go from there. So my in-person practice is still very much like the corrective exercise kind of wheelhouse. And then my online coaching is almost all parents.
Amazing. Okay. Next question is, what is the most beautiful thing someone has ever done for you?
That is a big one. Most beautiful thing. I have two that come to mind. One, I got very lucky in life that I have the best example of what a father should be.
Wow.
So now as an adult who has a child, looking back, that is the best gift that someone could give me, is like a good father figure. That's huge. And then the next one would be my wife, because I also was a very different human being before meeting her. And so meeting her and realizing like there's far more important things in life than what I was currently doing definitely changed me. And so like the gift of her coming into my life would probably be the second thing, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can see her smiling right now watching this interview.
Yeah. Yeah, those two things. If I now that I'm thinking about it, a third would be my son. Being a dad is still the biggest fear I have in life. I've almost died a couple times in different situations. That's never as nearly as terrifying to me as like not being a good dad, because I had such a good dad, right? So it kind of bleeds into itself. But the birth of my son and being a dad has been like the coolest, most life-changing thing, for sure.
And what's the best part of become a dad? Tell me something that you go like, wow, that's the biggest joy of it. What's something unique about it?
Yeah, I think for me it's realizing how much work I still have to do on myself. I think especially as we get older, we kind of realize we're kind of stuck in our ways, and I'm good enough the way that I am, and we can get into this false sense of security with how life's going. And since being a dad, it has humbled me more than almost anything else. In like, I have so much more room to grow, and now I have this really cool reason to do that, right? I have this cool reason to become a better and better version of myself. It's because I'm passing that on, whether I'm intentionally doing it or not. I'm passing all that on to my kid. So that would be, I think, the coolest part of parenting is just having this continual opportunity for growth.
Amazing. Ready for another one?
Let's do it.
Hey, Ethan from Oregon in the USA. Next question is, what's your favorite holiday season of the year?
Now I would say it's Christmas. So we just had Christmas with our son. It was his first Christmas. And even with him being as young as he was, just watching him, stare at the Christmas tree and interact with his cousins and open, his presents, and just watching his face light up, that was very, very cool. So the Christmas season, for that reason. I personally really love summers. Like I said, I love being outdoors. So good weather and being able to go camping and surfing and all of the things makes for a pretty fun time.
We are literally starting a new year right now. Yeah, 2024 just arrived. And you know, you are the kind of person when, you know, this time of the year, do you make new resolutions? Do you kind of reflect about the year just finished? You kind of set some goals? Tell me a little bit about this period of this time of the year for you.
Yeah, so I think the big thing that I do first is reflect. I like setting unrealistic goals. So a lot of times I know I'm not going to hit all the things that I said I wanted to do in the year,
Mm-hmm.
because I like the idea of stretching myself as far as humanly possible. There's that quote. I'm gonna butcher it, but if you shoot for the moon, you'll end up in the stars or whatever. However that goes. I know I didn't do that right justice, but that quote has kind of been the thing that has steered me around this time of year of like reflecting on maybe I didn't hit that one specific thing, but this is how close I got. So next year, what are the things that I continue to do to push myself to surpass even that? And so when I'm setting new goals, it's usually leapfrogging, what I did or didn't accomplish from the previous year
Mm-hmm.
with the intention and knowing that like I'm probably not gonna be able to get it. If I did this right, I'm not gonna be able to do them all because I'm setting really big goals in the hopes that I'm just really pushing myself forward. That is not what I recommend for everybody. Because that can become a self-deprecating cycle of like I'm never reaching any of my goals. So with a lot of my clients and people, I usually I'm coaching them to set reasonable goals that they can hit if they have to stretch just a little bit, right? So if it's I'm going to go from walking 2 days a week to 4 days a week, right? They're already walking, they're already doing that. It's not from 0 to 100, but it's these small micro adjustments that over time stack up. So how I coach people around the New Year's is a little different than what I do for myself, but I found both work depending on the person and kind of where they are and what they've done in the past.
Amazing. Cool. I have 3 questions left. Okay, let's do it.
Right.
But before the next one, 2000, as you mentioned about, my goodness, 2020 was a year to remember or to forget. I think 2020,
Yeah.
it's funny how people, we talk about, during this time of the year. And for you, you mentioned before that you literally start a business, in 2020 where the world went upside down. For you, Ethan, what do you think before COVID and after COVID, what do you think the big impact that COVID brought to the fitness world? For you, tell me, do you see a lot of like difference between before like 2019 and
Yeah.
since now? Or walk me through a little bit in your journey.
Yeah.
What do you
I think for the longest time, because I started in like 2012, 2013-ish. And from that point up until 2019, everyone had this one kind of idea of what fitness looked like. It was to join a big corporate gym, to jump on a bunch of machines and take some aerobics classes. And like everyone had this like, this is the way to do health and fitness. And I think after 2020, people were forced to come up with other, I don't want to go back to a gym where there's 600 members because that just seems unsafe, or that's not even the way I want to do this anymore. And so the fitness space in general, I've seen really kind of, again, niche down into like, you have this type of gym that does this style of training and it's a very small community. And you have this gym over here that has a very small community and they train in this kind of style. And so now people are really looking for like, where's the community that I want to join that really aligns with the what, the why, the how I want to pursue my health and fitness, rather than this one size fits all. And if you don't fit within that one size, it's not for you. And so that's been a really cool thing that I've seen come out of 2020. The opposing side of that is I've seen a lot of people's mental health take this extreme nosedive. And because they're so correlated between your physical and your mental health, if your mental health is in the toilet, trying to take care of your physical health becomes this immovable object, feels like, for a lot of people. So I have even started to incorporate a lot more of like lifestyle coaching into my health and fitness practice, because it's no longer just I need to lose weight. It's like, I need to lose weight, and I've gained all this weight because my mental health is in the toilet. So combining those two things, I mean, it's a net positive for sure, because now we're kind of addressing all of the things together, but noticing how much of a mental health impact that had on people and how much it affected their physical health was is really hard, and it hasn't really resolved. Like, it's not like we're through it and people have really come to terms with it and managed it. It's something that is still plaguing a lot of people. Yeah.
Okay. Next question is, what makes you the saddest?
The saddest.
Yeah.
Oh man. The saddest. I think this goes back to parenthood. Now with the just extreme responsibility I feel, developing this other human being who's gonna, be the next generation of people to influence how the world turns out, not doing a good job with that. And, that can be arbitrary. What is a good job? But failing at that is probably the thing that I get the saddest about, is the worry that I'm not going to live up to the expectation that I hold for myself for my kid. Yeah.
And the opposite, what makes you the happiest?
Ooh, I think being able to take a pause in life and realize all of the good that is happening, and like the juxtaposition, because we live in a world now where we know everything that's going on in the world around us, and being able to just pause and go, my life is really good. I have a home, a warm home. I have a loving wife. I have a healthy son. I have, cars that work. I have, all of these things, right? Relationships. I have friendships that have lasted me from high school that I don't think a lot of people can say they have. So like being able to pause and just, man, I have it pretty good.
I'm so
pretty lucky.
I'm so glad you brought this up, Ethan, because it's so true. I think if we write down in a piece of paper everything what we've got, trust me, you're going to feel so guilty about complaining about anything in life, because as you said, the world out there can be very, hard and difficult. So many other places where people, they are suffering a lot. And for us, to recognize that, to know how lucky we are to be in a place where we can, be ourselves, we can live a life, we can raise children, we can live day by day, knowing that we can, have opportunities or connect with people, doing things like normal things in life, because some places that they're not even able to do that. And I think that's a time of the year as well. It's good to mention that, because, I think let's memorize, or let's write down about things that we have, and trust me, you're gonna find a lot. And I know, of course, we're gonna have our bad days as well, which is normal.
For sure.
Absolutely, we are allowed to be sad, or to be, in a state of mind that you don't feel the best. But try to always to remember, or to remember that we are lucky. We are in a good place. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To that point, specifically, William, I can show you it right now. So I actually have a daily journal. While I have a morning practice where I have to write down 5 things that I'm grateful for every day. And the rule that I have for myself is I can't repeat the things that I'm grateful for. So I can't just have like, number 1 always be, I'm thankful I have a wonderful wife, because then you kind of get in this mindset of like, I only have 5 things to be grateful for. So one of the rules I have is every day has to be a new thing. It can be an aspect of similar kind of core, like I can write different things about my son that I'm grateful for, but I can't just say I'm grateful for my son every day. If we get stuck into this, like, I only have a couple things to be grateful for. So I would encourage anyone listening. Yeah, this has been a game changer for my mental health, is like just forcing myself to write it down and spend time thinking about those things, and not allowing myself to repeat it and getting that like not much is going on. It has been huge. So I'm glad you brought that up, for sure.
Absolutely. And it's funny because today, earlier this afternoon, for me here, and I was just thinking about, a friend of mine who is, I'm going to visit in Holland, and I had this moment of gratitude. My goodness, I felt so happy, and I'm not joking. For a moment, I just put my hand like that. I look in the air. I was like, oh my God, thanks for giving me the pleasure of feeling like that. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
feeling. So I think we need just to realize those small things that we have as a good feeling, as a good comment, as a good compliment. It could be anything. A good smell of food as well. Could be
Yeah.
anything. I think those things, when you kind of start doing very often, one point, trust me, you're gonna feel guilty about complaining about anything, and it's gonna become a good habit as well. As you said, you're gonna start doing this more and more and more. And one point, you're gonna see a difference in your life. So yeah, good
Yeah,
point.
absolutely. Yeah.
2 questions left. Let's do it. Before the next question, what's the biggest joy of being a coach? Yeah, tell me what brings you the best about working, helping people, and the flip side. For sure,
Sure.
there's always a challenging part as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
tell me about it.
So the biggest reward that I have as a coach, and I tell people this when they start working with me, is my eventual goal for all my clients is they should be able to come to a point where they don't need me anymore. And so when clients get to that point where they feel like they have the tools to continue moving forward and be successful and not yo-yo and lose the results that they got with me, and like truly get to a point where they've gotten the things that they wanted and they can maintain those for the rest of their life, and they can do that, they can pass that to their kids. That's the biggest reward for me in the world is people telling me like, hey, like, thank you so much. I've learned everything that I could possibly need to keep what I've gotten and pass it to my kids. That is, there's not much better than that. The flip side of that coin is I can only do so much as a coach, and so I've been doing this long enough that there's plenty of clients who hire me thinking that by hiring me, that's all that's required, and I can do the work for them. And so there's this constant tension and struggle because I can't, it's the lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I can't get you to drink the water on your own if you're not willing to bend down and drink it. So that's the hard thing as a coach is you're meeting people in different parts of life, and sometimes they're at a point in life where they're very receptive and ready to make change, and there's some points where my role turns into more of helping them maybe take one step closer to getting to that point eventually. And it's not, I can admit graciously that I don't have 100% success rate because I work with so many people in different areas of their life, and there's only so much I can do. And so that's hard for me as a coach. And I have to come to terms with that repeatedly. But yeah, that's hard because you want to help everyone. I want everyone to reach all of their goals, and it's not always the case.
It's so true. I have so many fitness coaches here, and they said the same thing as well. Because again, it is the end of the day, you're gonna give the tools, you're gonna be there by their sides, but if they don't do it, there's nothing much you can do. It needs to come from us, from the client who is working with the fitness. I think it's yeah, I'm sure it must be quite tricky, but again, part of the journey. I'm sure you
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Next question is, tell us about your best vacation and why you consider that.
Ooh, so best vacation. So I'm going through the Rolodex of vacations. So the one that pops in my head was when I was much younger. My dad, because we would go to the Oregon coast to surf, which if anyone knows the Oregon coast, it's not the best place for surfing. You can do it, but it's not the best. But he learned how to surf, and then he took me out and taught me how to surf, and that memory sticks with me because I got to do that. I went to school in Hawaii, so I got to do that when I was going to school. So like something I got to take with me. So that was really cool. My wife and I, when we got married, were much poorer. So we actually had to postpone our honeymoon for a while. And so when we actually got to take our honeymoon, we went to Mexico and had this amazing time. And on that trip, we went to a zoo where you could interact with the animals. So I actually got to interact with lion cubs, and lions are my favorite animal in the world. And so that was like the coolest experience. I had the biggest grin on my face for the rest of the trip. So those two really stick out. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. Ready for the last question?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Last question, Ethan. But before the last question, through your career as a coach, as a fitness trainer, tell me a moment or a situation that you're never going to forget, that you're going to go like, you know what, this experience or this moment, something that happened to you that you're never going to forget, it's always going to have a special place in your heart.
Yeah. So the one that immediately jumps out with me, I have a client that I've worked with for years. Her name's Luann. So if she ever watches this, I'm talking about you. But she's lost over 130 pounds. And so going on that journey with her and seeing just how hard she worked through that whole, I mean, years of work to get to where she is, but going through that experience with her and developing that really long-term friendship with this person is something that I get to keep forever and is one of the coolest things. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. Last question is, do you consider yourself to be a spiritual person, and how?
Yes. So this is a fun one. So I grew up in a very religious household, and I, in my early adulthood, stepped about extremely as far away from organized religion as possible, to the detriment of actually my family dynamics for a long time. But as I got older, I realized that I don't think I believe in necessarily a God, especially in the way that it is portrayed with humans and how we say what a God is. But there's got to be something that is holding the universe together, so to speak. And so being connected to that helped me break through a lot of personal blocks and things in life. And since those experiences, it's impossible for me to deny that there's not nothing. There's something when I'm in those moments that I feel so personally connected to, and then coming out of those experiences, the connection I feel to everyone else I interact with because of that, and how much differently I want to be as a person to interact with everyone else, has changed me fundamentally. So spiritually, I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not much of a religious person. Dogma is something that is a whole different discussion. But spirituality, yeah, for sure.
What's the meaning of life for you, Ethan?
That's such a good question. That's a whole podcast to itself, right? I think the simplest meaning, I think, for me is to not shun away in fear that what you do or accomplish is going to negatively impact everyone else. But truly what you should do is try to maximize yourself to the fullest potential possible, because of what you will leave behind. Even when no one remembers your name, there's going to be a ripple effect that occurs. And so your job is to maximize that regardless of how anyone else views your actions, to maximize positivity.
Amazing.
I think that's the answer.
Amazing. Okay, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell me one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Okay.
Right.
Let's start with money.
Money. Never enough.
Family.
What was it?
Family.
Family. Connection.
Fear.
Face everything and rise.
Life.
Meaningful struggle.
Love.
The glue.
Sex.
The best.
Politics.
Division. Unnecessary division.
Religion.
Seeking truth. Seeking truth.
Friendship.
Oh, I'm bond, a bond.
Okay. Desire.
Personal growth.
Regrets.
Living in the past.
Success.
Unattainable ambition.
Wish.
Wish.
Yeah.
Hope.
Happiness.
The ultimate pursuit.
One word for Oregon.
Oh, green. It is the greenest state ever.
USA, one word.
Currently turmoil.
Fitness.
The key to most things.
And the last one now, the parents kettlebell coach, one word.
One word for the kettlebell coach.
The parents kettlebell coach.
Unique.
Amazing. Very unique for sure. When I saw it, I was like, this is unique, this is new. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely wife for a coffee, and I'm going to ask her, what is the most beautiful thing about Ethan, and what's something that he still needs to work on, to improve on? What should say?
I think she would say, and I think this for my friends and anyone close to me in proximity is the guy that you can call at 3 a.m. who will show up. I think that's something that I have proved time and again. Something I need to work on. From childhood, my first emotional response to most things is anger, and I've gotten much better at that. But managing that through all of life's ups and downs is something I for sure am still working on. Yeah.
If I ask the same question to your lovely twin sister, would be the same answer for both?
Yeah, I think so. I think with her that because of a family dynamic, I think a similar answer, I think, for sure. Between my father and I, kind of the rocks of the family. You know, people come to us with all of the things that they have questions about, worries, fears, etc. And I have, thankfully, strong enough shoulders to carry it. And I feel blessed to do that.
With anger on the side.
That's right. Yeah. This is bubbling under the surface sometimes. And then that answer probably for sure. Growing up in a family of 5 and all of the dynamics of having 4 siblings.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What's your star sign or astrology, Ethan?
I'm an Aries, which so funny. The anger is an emotion that I am tethered to because that is usually on the list.
There we go.
Yeah.
Let's play now, Ethan, and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, you can ask me a question now.
So, William, what I would love to know is because I think podcasting and this form of media sharing is so unique, and I think it's where most people prefer short form and really, you know, the TikTok kind of. I think it's gonna die away, and this is gonna live on. So, what is your ultimate hope with this form of content that you've decided to really dive into? What's the hope and outcome of that?
Wow, I love your answer, Ethan. And the answer comes straight away. You know, when I started doing the show, to be honest, I never watched all the podcasts. TikTok wasn't there yet. Like, I didn't kind of have connection. And this idea literally came through like a very genuine way. You know, I wasn't expecting to be that close to people to open up so much about it. For me, it was just to have fun, to come here and answer fun questions. And it's interesting, the question, because there are so many podcasts out there, which is amazing. People discussing different topics where they can express themselves, they can talk about things. But about the magic box. It's something that there are random questions. I'm sure you answer here question that maybe you never been asked before, and
Yeah.
somehow you somehow you are expressing yourself in a way who people who watching now, people who knows you very well, they're gonna go like, oh my god, it's so interesting to see. So I think
Mm.
it's I think that the show here, the podcast, the magic box, it's something different that people they are sharing memories, that memories. Imagine your son watch this interview like in 10 years time or 20 years time, they're gonna go like, oh my god, look my dad sharing these moments. So I think here the unique or different aspect of the show connect with other podcasts, so which again they are amazing as well. I love those,
Yeah.
but I think here is just something unique, something different about people express themselves in a way that they cannot just focus whatever they want to share or whatever they want to express or promote as well. In a way, the questions makes you go in different directions that you're not expecting, or you feel a bit maybe vulnerable, or you feel maybe happy that you talk about it. And I think that's the legacy of the show. It's about people being themselves, connect with other people as well. I could tell so many stories that people connect with each other just through the show. The other day, I received a message saying that they literally went on a date because of the show.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, so imagine how big it can be. You know what I mean? Imagine people connect with you for different reasons, or for your fitness coach or parents. Just watch this interview right now and see. And it's funny because you talk about parenting. My best friend, he got two children. Yeah, 4 years
Mm.
old, my godson, and the 2 years old as well. And I've been talking to him every day. When you gonna go back to the gym? I'm
Yeah.
gonna pick because he was a very like into the gym, and I can't wait. When you were talking, I can't wait to tell him about your interview, because I would like him to watch it, because you can do so much, you know what I mean? And people like you sharing this experience and this a way of, connect with parenting and fitness as well, because somehow, as you said, people they run away a little bit, because I know it's a parenting 24 hours job, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
it's great. It's great to. That's why I got my attention, your profile, because I'm sure people would appreciate that. That somehow you're encouraging them to somehow get back to fitness again and see that they can do both somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So back to your question, I think it's all about express yourself, being vulnerable, being happy, being yourself, and just connect with people. And here I think the show gives this opportunity for that. I think
For
for you
sure.
to talk about different topics, different funny things, sad things, happy things as well. And you never know where the question can take you. So I think that's the something that I like the people to take with them, not just who participate in the show, but also people who watch the show as well, to go like, you know what, I'm glad that I watched this interview, that I'm going to take something to my personal life. And I think that is all about. It's about people here talking and connect with people as well. So yeah, that's the whole thing about the show.
Yeah. And to that answer, I have been on a couple podcasts now, and this has been uh, the most unique interviewing that
Wow.
has occurred so far. Which, to your point, the other podcasts I've been on, wonderful podcasts, but usually very focused on a specific topic with kind of follow-up questions and things. And this was a journey of ups and downs and all around. So it's been very fun. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much, Ethan. Thanks so much. And I'm here so thankful for people, because I know how busy we are nowadays with our personal lives. We have so much, and when someone take their time for to connect with us, I think that's a gift. So, thank you so much. It's a new year starting now. I hope all the best. I hope that more people connect with you, more parents they come after you, and you can spread more this new idea. I mean, it's new for me. This idea that.
Sure. Yeah.
People they're gonna reflect more and realize that they can combine both lives, and I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Yeah, I think if I had one message to put out for everyone is you're probably doing way better than you think you are. And if we could take a step back from comparing ourselves because we're so connected, or we think we're so connected, we're really not, but we think we're so connected, and we are judging ourselves against everything else that we see online or wherever. If you could just remind yourself that you're probably doing better than you think, and 1% better every day is going to get you to where you want to be, that would be iMessage to anyone listening.
And every morning when you wake up, look at the mirror and smile, and you're gonna see a
That's
big
right.
difference in your life. That's for sure.
100%. Yep, 100%.
Happy New Year, okay? Thank you very much for the
You
interview.
as well, William.
Okay?
All right,
Take
man.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.